Hello everyone, I'm Bill. Welcome back to my channel. We're in the Call of Cthulhu Keeper's Guide today. We are looking at the Grimoire chapter, so the chapter on spells. And this video today is going to be on the example of a spell that with multiple variations. And then the next video will be on creating a new spell. And then after that, the videos after that will be on the spells themselves that are in the book for you to mess with, modify, use in your game, and use sparingly in your game, because you don't want your players to have hundreds of spells at their disposal. So an example of one spell with variations: a spell could be compared with a cooking recipe. There is no definite bread recipe. Soda bread can be made in an hour, while sourdough bread takes days. A variety of flours and other ingredients may be used. The method of making can vary. It can be done by hand or with a machine. The resulting breads come in all shapes, sizes, and flavors. If you look at 10 cookbooks, you will find many different recipes for bread with many different names. The same is true for spells and tomes. 10 tomes might list what appears at first glance to be the same spell. However, the specific spells will be no more similar than all those bread recipes. There is a world of difference between German black bread and focaccia. Just as you would choose a bread that suits your menu, so you may tailor a spell to fit your game. Let's take the spell Create Zombie and look at a few variations. The basic Create Zombie spell. The Create Zombie spell in the Grimoire starts with a corpse and converts it into a zombie. The zombie lasts until it rots or falls to pieces. It can take basic commands from its creator. The magic point cost is high, 16 points, and the sanity loss is 1d6, which is moderate. The spell takes a whole week, but will work and is not subject to any power rolls. A quick version of the Create Zombie spell. It is conceivable that the players might wish to make a zombie, perhaps to carry out some dangerous task on their behalf. If the investigators come across a tome that is poorly transcribed, incomplete, or damaged, you might want to provide them with a version of the spell which seems useful but is likely to cause them more trouble than it's worth. Alternatively, you might want to kick a scenario off with a reanimator theme. A mad doctor bringing corpses back to life, only to find they are beyond control. The cost of such spells might be halved, as it is far less useful than the standard version. The idea of starting with a corpse that continues to rot is retained, as is the sanity loss, yet the casting time is reduced to 1 hour. The apparent advantage of faster casting and lower magic point cost might well appeal to the unwary. Let's call this version of the spell Gray Binding. An improved version of the Create Zombie spell. What if a warlock had the original Create Zombie spell, but wanted a more effective servant, one that would last longer, one that might even pass for human? The warlock's aim might be beneficent. He may even try to bring back a loved one, such as a wife or a child. All this would, of course, raise the cost of the spell, and as it is longer lasting, the cost might be in POW instead of magic points. Let's call it 5 POW. The sanity cost might also be raised to 1d10, justified in the description of the spell casting as invoking mythos gods, and the requirement of the caster to breathe part of his or her own life force into the corpse. The casting time is not important and is reduced to 1 day, but it could just as well remain at 1 week. This zombie will follow simple commands and may even slowly learn more over time. The zombie's life is linked to the caster, and it will become inactive and rot away should its master die. Let's call this spell Graveyard Kiss to invoke what might be its kinder, albeit misplaced intentions. And then Macabre version of the Create Zombie spell. If you want an altogether more evil version of the spell, one that involves the capture and murder of an innocent person, perhaps a friend of the investigator or even an actual investigator, then something might be altered to allow the spell to begin with a living target. First, the target would have to be captured, and one obvious way to capture and subdue a target is with poison. This spell is intended to have an evil feel, so the target is then buried alive for a few days. Later, the victim is converted into a zombie to serve its master for so long as the caster lives or wishes. This is an evil spell involving murder and torture. Thus, the sanity cost is increased to D10 points. Excuse me. The fact that this spell does not so much animate a corpse as corrupt a living person is deemed justification to decrease the magic points from 16 to 10. The spell still takes a number of days to cast, and the resulting zombie is still only able to follow basic commands. Because this spell targets a living person, there should be some way to oppose it. 2 rolls may be used. First, a con roll to resist the poison, and second, a power roll to resist the effects of the spell. This variant might only have the subtly different name of Create Zombie. Okay, so they have snippets of the actual spells here. So Grey Binding, Create Zombie variant. Cost 8 magic, 1d6 sanity, casting time 1 hour. Graveyard Kiss, 5 power, 1d10 sanity, 1 day. And there could be a deeper version. It is rumored that some may be able to create and control unlimited undead servants, with some suggesting the sorcerer's POW sets the limit for the number of zombies that can be controlled. Divide the caster's POW by 5. The result is the maximum number of zombies they may be actively controlled at any given time. Gives you alternate names. The Deathless Servant, Love's Lost Embraced Returned. And then you have the Create Zombie, the ZOMBI, instead of the regular spelling. Costs 10 magic points and 10 sanity points. Casting time variable, days, because of the poison and the POW check and the torture. So it actually gives you those stats here. And that is how you create variations of the same spell. And I find that very insightful because that could help me a whole lot when I start looking and using these spells in my games. I could also use this to put an older feel to some older magics in D&D games. So, well, hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Until we all game again, guys.